We are joined now by the great Jeff Goodman, the Field of 68 podcast empire. I know everybody was up listening to Field of 68 after dark on Saturday night after a huge night of college hoops. But Jeff, we got to talk first about Bronny James, his debut. This is the one. So this is our first college basketball segment. We're going to get everybody kind of broken in.
All right.
We'll go with the one that everybody's Googling.
Yeah.
How much did Bronny James play? How much did he score? Let's talk about Bronny James' debut for USC in a losing effort to Long Beach State. Congratulations, Dan Monson. But Bronny, it's been such a whirlwind. You know, he's because of who he is. He's a very famous recruit. He signs with USC. Cardiac arrest in July, and now he's finally able to get on the court. What did you see from him relative to what he looked like as a recruit?
Yeah, I saw him a bunch, over the last few years, and he got progressively better each year. First time I saw him, I'm like, all right, is he going to be more than just kind of a mid-major guy? And he turned himself into a, player that was a McDonald's All-American, might have gotten a little bit of the edge there because of his dad's name. But listen, this kid knows how to play. That's the bottom line, is he got that from LeBron. No, he's not, 6'8", 270 and super explosive, but you know what he is? A high IQ, ball moving, terrific defender who doesn't make mistakes, who plays with incredible poise. That's the one thing, Andy, when you saw him in his debut, you said, like, this dude he knows how to play. He's not going to be rattled. Now, he missed the key free throw down the stretch.
Yeah. So did everybody else on USC, though.
Yeah. He wasn't the only one. He was not the only one. But he was really, to me, he looked like he belonged in his debut, after which he like you said, listen, he had cardiac arrest. They weren't sure he was going to play again. He's off and not able to do a whole heck of a lot, misses the first 8 games, misses a ton of the preseason, and he looks like he belongs. So he's only going to get better. However, here's what I'll say. And I've said this before. The expectations placed on him are way too much and always have been. And I just hope this slows down the process for Bronny James. I hope LeBron doesn't. Listen, it's not like LeBron's retiring after this year. Like, he's turning 39. He's going to make it to 40. So don't rush your kid to the NBA. You're going to play with him. I think he'll play with him. But let him go and play 2 years in college or a year and 3/4 in college, because I think he needs it. I don't think he's a one and done. I think you're doing a disservice to your kid in a lot of ways if you're going to rush him after just 1 year or really 3/4 of a year.
So the first play that just makes your eyes pop up and you go, okay, I see whose kid this is, was the chase down block in the first half. And I will say, I thought it was interesting. Andy Enfield had him in on the last play of regulation. Now, that might have been because Dennis Rodman's kid had just fouled out.
Yeah.
Which is another subplot. He's a transfer from Washington State. But they've trusted Bronny James enough to have him in on that last play of regulation. Had him in the first couple minutes of overtime as well. But then you do wonder about conditioning and is he ready to be in crunch time in game 1 for him?
Yeah, I think when we look at his season, obviously the trajectory is going to go up because, again, he's going to get more comfortable. His shot has gotten better over the last couple of years. But I think he's a piece. Unless somebody gets hurt, he's not playing minutes over Boogie Ellis. He's not playing him over the number 1 freshman, Isaiah Collier. He's not playing him over Kobe Johnson, who's an elite defender with more size. So I think he's going to be a role player, and I think he'll be a hell of a role player at that because, again, he impacts winning. The box score is never going to show up as like, oh, my God, he had, a double-double. That's just not going to be his role. But you just watch him and you can tell he's got the intangibles. And here's the biggest thing, Andy, that I don't think people talk about enough. And I've seen him for probably 3 or 4 years now. Like, his teammates really like playing with him.
Yeah.
Because he's not about himself, and he never has been about himself. He just kind of plays the game the way it's supposed to be played, makes the right play, right? He doesn't over dribble. You watch him. What does he do? He gets the ball. He moves the ball. So guys love playing with him because, again, he's not a guy looking for his.
Well, and I thought it was interesting. Like, you had the line of students wrapped around the Galen Center. Like, if you Googled USC basketball, it was all Bronny James stuff. And you do wonder how that affects, like, because like you said, Collier is a potential top 3 draft pick next year. Like, we're talking about guys that are in a little different place. I wonder if he hadn't had the heart issue, what would Bronny James have been coming into the season? Would he have been kind of a rotational off the bench role player, a starter? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Exact thing he is, and he's gonna be. I don't think anything changes. I just think, again, he missed the first 8 games, and it might take him a little bit longer. You know, you always want to see like that second game, right? Sometimes that first game is deceptive. It could be both ways, right? A guy could be overwhelmed, or he could play above, you know, kind of above his talent level. I think this was kind of Bronny. I think, you know, some games you're going to get 10, 12, 14 points out of him. Other games he's going to do this and score a few points and have, you know, I said, if you had asked me what his numbers are going to be at the end of the year, I would have said like 6 to 8 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds a game, you know, shooting 36% from 3. Again, just making his guys better. And again, that doesn't jump off the page as a one and done. But when you're LeBron's kid, does an NBA team, and I know you didn't get me on here to talk about this, and this is probably not what we even should be talking about after he makes his debut, but it is something that's interesting, is does an NBA team take him with the 15th pick?
You might get LeBron pick to sign with you out of that. Yeah.
If I'm Minnesota, here's one. All right, here's a great example.
All right.
If I'm the Boston Celtics, okay, if I'm the Boston Celtics and I don't win it all this year, and I get to the NBA Finals, and I've got Tatum and Jaylen Brown and all these dudes, and I live in Boston.
Porzingis, yeah.
Yeah, Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and you're like, all right, like with the 28th pick, would we burn it on Bronny James to get LeBron and have a chance for the next 2 years? Hell yes.
Hell would.
Yes.
That's exactly right. As well, and that, listen, sometimes membership has its privileges, but thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.